Good morning, FUTV family. How are we all doing this Monday, 21st of October? We are covering all Manchester United news updates after what was an epic weekend for United. Well, it's epic when we get a win, isn't it? But we're also looking ahead to what is coming this week, how big, how massive this week is. Ten Hag has been talking up Jose Mourihno, talking up Fenerbahce, the challenges ahead of this week as well, how the mood is around Manchester United. We're talking at the football writers awards ceremony, whatever it was last night. It looks a little bit awkward on stage, as Ten Hag always does when talking, but I think he got his point across. I think he got across what he needed to say, and I'm just thankful that United actually got a win, and it wasn't made even more awkward for him, because you can imagine being in a football writers environment with what has been said about Ten Hag, going off the back of what another poor defeat against Brentford. It would have been a difficult night for Erik, and luckily he managed to get the win for United this weekend, and it wasn't too bad. Well, so let's look at the positives that are going on right now. Like we said, yesterday was all right, because we were talking about United actually finding finding a little bit of anger within themselves and actually finding something within their game which got us over the line and got us a decent performance in the second half and a win. So Ten Hag, in buoyant mood, been talking about Jose as well and the challenge that he brings. We're going to go into that. Darren Fletcher, he's in trouble with the FA. Do you know what? I'm actually really enjoying the fact that we're getting a few people in trouble at the moment. It actually shows that we've got some life in us. And I think that's what we've been crying out for, isn't it? So you got Fletcher in trouble with the FA. You've got Van Nistelrooy on his second yellow card this season. Ten Hag with his yellow card. You could see like the emotion in Matthijs de Ligt's reaction. Just little things like this get the crowd on board, give the fans something to jump onto, and it just feels like after that game and a pivotal moment, which was that Brentford goal. And I keep on talking about it because it was massive for Manchester United. It probably could be, if anything, the turning point in Manchester United's season. Look, it can all just be thrown back in our faces with this game on Thursday. I'm not under any illusion as to how difficult a game this is coming up against Jose Mourinho's side. But that goal against Brentford, that corner has given United so much impetus going forward. It's ridiculous how one moment can change a whole season. Like I said, it was one game, and let's not get carried away, but it could do. If they channel it, like Ten Hag said they did do in the dressing room, then we're all right. But you look at what's happened afterwards, like Darren Fletcher in trouble and everything, it just seems like it galvanised everyone at United a little bit. And that's what we got to cling on to. We've got to cling on to the fact that we are where we are in the league, which is better than what it was last week by maybe 2 places if Nottingham Forest do well tonight. It's not great still, but wins need to be backed up with more wins and more wins to convince anybody. I'm nowhere near convinced yet, but I'll definitely take the positives that came from the weekend. And I think Ten Hag is doing the same in what he was saying last night. So he was talking about talking at the Football Writers Awards, talking about what it's like to be Manchester United manager at the moment. He went down his usual road of talking about the amount of trophies that he's won and the journey that Manchester United are on and how patience is needed. Again, look, patience only comes when you actually see something to cling on to, and patience, I feel, within the fan base is wearing thin still at the moment. But I think with what he was saying was, I think he needed to get across last night from what I've listened to and the clips that have come out and what I've read so far, is that he wanted to make it clear like how difficult a job it is at Manchester United. I think that's what was his biggest point in getting out of that last night in that ceremony. If he even called out Neil Custis of The Sun to come and swap jobs with him for a week, just to actually see what difficult it is. It's all tongue-in-cheek and everybody's happy and laughing, obviously. And it's easy, like I said, when you've actually won a game, it's easy to actually talk in this way and actually be a bit more positive like Ten Hag was last night. But still, the big picture and the wider picture that everybody needs to look at. And it was good that he was actually talking about it. Yes, he was prompted in by journalists in asking questions after the ceremony, but he was talking about Jose Mourihno. He was talking about this week against Fenerbahce and how massive a game it's going to be over in Turkey this week. And he was talking about how comfortable a week it's going to be with certain journalists and stuff like that. Tongue-in-cheek, yes, but still, you have to take into consideration the magnitude of what he's coming up against. And I don't just mean Fenerbahce and Turkey. it's the Jose Mourihno factor. And like what Erik Ten Hag says, and his quote pretty much was, it's a big game for both of us. He is a winner. He's won so many trophies. I think he's an example for many managers. So I really enjoy to play against him, or I will really enjoy to play against him. He's basically just building up Jose Mourihno. He has to, really, doesn't he? Because you've got to look at what Jose did at Manchester United in his first season. Compare that to what Ten Hag has done. If you're talking about Ten Hag winning trophies and his record standing up there, as he likes to put it up there, then Jose Mourihno pretty much has dwarfed him in what he has won, obviously. And I think it's right in Ten Hag paying a little bit of respect to Jose, because he is going to know how to set up against United. If there's one man who knows a weakness of another side and knows how to play on a weakness of another side or opposition to get the best result, it's Jose Mourihno. We know this, and we know what's coming. We know that it's going to be a horrible watch. It's going to be intense. The atmosphere on its own, it doesn't even need Jose Mourihno in that game, does it? But it's got him. And like I said, you only have to look at the start that Jose's had to his season at Fenerbahce. He's only lost one game this season, and that's the Galatasaray, who are obviously the best team in that league by a country mile with the amount of money that they have spent. So, to be honest, when you're buying players like Osimhen, you'd expect Galatasaray to walk away with that league. So, one defeat all season for Jose Mourihno, and that includes the Europa League as well, in which he's got a draw and a winning. He's doing Jose things. He's making a team very difficult to beat. And you know what? He'll be doing. And I'm actually happy that Ten Hag has actually gone down this tongue-in-cheek route with Jose and tried to lighten. What's the right way of putting it? It's like lighten the mood a little bit. Like, take the focus off how big this is going to be. If this is built up and built up and built up, and he gets a bit tetchy and the build-up to the game is a little bit spiky, then he's going to fall victim of it. He needs to be very, very careful and have his wits about him. And I think he has. I think he started the week off well. Obviously, the results done well. He's had the Writers' Awards last night, and I think he's just setting himself up for what's to come here. And I think he's done it the right way so far. So, good start in bringing up Jose Mourihno and what he has done before, making sure that these players are going to be aware of what's going to happen this week in Turkey. And I just look at where we are at right now with the players that were supposedly coming back. And I said this yesterday in the video. Cheers for watching that last night as well, everybody. I said it in the video last night, and it was important to get the point across that Manchester United need players in form going into a game like this. They're going to need to take them few chances that they probably will create because of the way that, like I said, Jose will set up. And I think the likes of Højlund, obviously Rashford, Garnacho, these big players, the forward players, are going to be key for us. Because I don't think we're going to be backs to the wall. I don't. Jose and the way he sets things up, I just don't see Manchester United having to deal with that. But I think it's going to be a case of waiting for United to make a mistake sort of game. So, good that we're in the right frame of mind. Well, I hope we're in the right frame of mind going into this. But still, you've got to look at what Jose has done before, what Jose will do to us, and Ten Hag very aware of what is coming his way. I mean, do you feel like Jose Mourihno was probably the one manager that wasn't given the full backing that a lot of the other managers have been given? I mean, I reckon Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't given the same. Anyone who works under Ed Woodward, I feel, as a manager at Manchester United, definitely didn't get the right sort of backing or support when it came to the Player FC sort of scenarios at Manchester United. So he's going to feel hard done to, and he's going to be raring to go in this game. He's going to do everything he possibly can to take Manchester United down. And again, this when you talk about it, when you actually think about what's coming, when you go into the mode of where you was after the Brentford game and coming off that little bit of a high with that, but then realising what's coming, and then you just don't want to be talking on Friday morning or Thursday evening in the way that we all know we could be with another defeat or more points dropped in the Europa League, because it is a tough game. It's horrible to actually think that way, but you sort of just naturally fall into that mode, don't you? You feel like, God, I don't want to be that, but you know what's coming. It's awkward, but hey, look, we'll do what we've got to do, and I think we've got the right players to do it. It's if they've got the mentality to handle what's coming. And I keep saying it's like, you could say it's crazy talking about Jose Mourihno now on the Monday, but I think these players, like the senior players at the football club, are the ones that need to obviously stand up in this game against Fenerbahce on Thursday. And if they don't, then we will crumble. We will, because that is the trap that Jose will set for Manchester United. And I think we do need to pay him the respect that he deserves. And I think that respect will be in being prepared for what is to come. The shithousery, skullduggery, whatever you want to call it, all that is going to be there. And I feel like if we can get over that first 20, 30 minutes in that game, I think we should be all right. But hey, that's on Thursday. I think Ten Hag is right in saying what he said. I think he's right in preparing the players early for Jose and what's to come. And prepare yourselves for an absolute, let's just say, onslaught of everything that can go against you, or everything that any player or any manager can do to snidely win a game of football is what is going to happen on Thursday. So, yeah, I think we'll put that aside until then. But Jose Mourihno against Erik ten Hag, a massive week for both managers. Well, I don't think it's as big for Jose Mourihno as it is for Erik ten Hag, obviously, with circumstances being the way they are at United right now, and Erik literally living on a knife edge every single game. Jose's obviously had a good start there. It's big for him because it's his former employer, and he wants to go out there and actually take a piece off Manchester United, I feel. And I think that's the worrying bit that we've got. But you guys get into the comments and let me know what you feel about this game and who you need to stand up and be counted in it. Get all your comments in on what Erik ten Hag was saying about the journey last night and some overall feelings about the game as well still. Like, you've seen it now, your dust has settled. Have you got any more encouragement coming into this game this week after what you've seen against Brentford? There's a lot of teams that are struggling right now. You only have to look at how difficult Manchester City found it against Wolves yesterday, which, how that goal was given for City, I do not know. But when you're at the top, you get the rub of the green, don't you? And that's what we have to look at. I mean, you have to look at Brighton against Newcastle. Newcastle losing. There are tough games all over. And whereas we can say, look, everyone's losing games, we've got a chance of getting up there, we're still in that same boat of having to play these teams. There isn't a chance for United, and this is my biggest concern in everything. It's like there's not a chance for United, I don't feel, to go on, say, and you look at the fixtures and you go, this is an easy run of games now for Manchester United. It's not. There isn't one easy game in the Premier League. Not one. And that's the problem you've got. When you fall so far behind, you look at the fixtures and you go, oh, that's the spell when we can come back. That's when United can make something happen there and get a few wins in it. It's not there anymore. If the bottom team in the league is taking down the top team, and literally a 95th minute goal, which shouldn't have counted, is the only way that City have beaten Wolves. And City only dragged themselves over the line against Brentford, who we played at weekend. You seen how crap Brentford were against us. City only beat them 2-1. They're only beating Wolves 2-1. Yeah, they're doing what champions do, and they're getting over the line. But what I'm trying to say is you look at what Leicester did at Southampton, 2-0 down, coming back and beating them 3-2. You look at what Ipswich have done in games. Yes, they got beat. They missed chances against Everton. But we thought Everton were down and out, didn't we? But they've come back again now. There isn't one easy game in this league, and that's the problem we've got. We cannot afford to fall far behind. Like, people will say we're only 6 points off the top four. Yeah, but can you see United winning 3 games in a row? That's the problem you've got. Like, you look at Leicester, you look at Chelsea, they had a good game against Liverpool. You look at West Ham. Yes, West Ham is the one game I would say that United now should be looking at this weekend and winning. We have to win that game. But then you've got that fear factor of that wounded animal, Lopetegui, what our record is like at West Ham. There's no easy games. We can't fall any further behind, and we need to just start winning. So it's an issue, and I'm bringing it up simply because of where we are in the league. And I said this before the weekend's games. It's like, it's all right, people saying like we're only these certain amount of points away, but you can't afford to fall further and further behind, because we haven't got 4 wins, 5 wins in a row in this team. We haven't at the moment. There's too many tough games. And yeah, we could do. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about these players convincing us that they've got the mentality to actually do that. They've got the quality, but can they actually convince us to give us the confidence that under Ten Hag we can go forward? That's what we're needing to see now in this next group of games. These next 6 games before the next international break is where this fan base, I feel, need to see this team actually doing something different and convincing us that we can actually survive and go up there and get back up that league table and start challenging again. and challenging for the top 4. We're going to have to win some tough games. You're going to have to beat the likes of Chelsea at home, which is going to be tough. You're going to have to beat Fenerbahce and West Ham. It's got to that stage now already where we've fallen that far behind. Yes, the optimistic people and the people saying that it's still a chance, you have to trust, it's a long journey and everything like that. That's all there and that's all fine and well in saying that. But the only way that most of the fan base are convinced is if we actually start winning these games, these tough games. And if it's just scraping over the line like we did against Brentford, but still having moments in the game where we're actually playing all right, then that's how it's going to have to be. Buzzing, like I said, with what happened at weekend in terms of the attitude of the staff, the emotion. You can see that everyone is fighting for each other. Darren Fletcher obviously getting in trouble with the FA as well. And I think that's important to see. I think that's important to see for a lot of United fans because it gets everyone on board. I'm happy that this is coming out. Like Manchester United coach Darren Fletcher could face an FA charge after losing his temper at the referee at half-time against Brentford in the Old Trafford tunnel. God, you gotta love that tunnel. There's so much happens in that tunnel, isn't there? It's what you want to see. It is. It's going back to the old days, isn't it? It's like we've had to bring back the old style sort of Ferguson players in Van Nistelrooy and Darren Fletcher to actually get more out of this team, and it's really good to actually see it happening, I feel, and I think it's what's getting a lot of the fans a little bit more upbeat. Forget about what's happening on the pitch, it's still not fantastic, and we'll go from that game against Brentford hopefully with a little bit more confidence in our game, but still, I feel like what's happening in and around the team at the moment and off the pitch is the one thing that's sort of like convincing more fans and holding on to a little bit more, you could say, I feel. Ten Hag has called for patience and reiterated that Manchester United can continue to win trophies under his management. Just more quotes coming out from what was going on last night. Manchester United also reportedly interested in Girona midfielder Morten Frendrup. I'm not sure who he is or what his qualities are or anything like that. I haven't watched too much of him or anything, but that's just more speculation coming out, just reading through the news and what's come from the weekend for everyone in the chat today. Let's get into some of the comments as well this morning. How are you all feeling? Let's get into it. Let's dive. Agreed, Adam. I was delighted to see the Yellows getting whipped out. A bit of passion is exactly what we've been calling for. Exactly. Spot on, Adam. Passion been missing for so long. Good morning to you as well. Double A. I can see plenty of people in there. Babs is in there as well. Amir says Manchester United to win UEFA Europa League, FA and Carabao Cup this season. Amir is well and truly on it. Well, it's a must-win game. It should have been both Porto and Twente. That wouldn't have been, if we'd beaten both of them, that wouldn't have been the case. Every single Manchester United game is a must-win game. I think it's just it's just got a must-win, desperate game about it every single week right now with United because of where we are and the start that we've made. And that's just the pressure that comes with not winning games for United. United only run well as a club when things are going well on the pitch. It'll be a nice, calm week this week because we've won a game. It's crazy. That's how it works at United. It doesn't matter about important business decisions or anything that's going on behind the scenes if United have won a game the previous week. This happens every single week. It's a weird one, I know. And it shouldn't really be relevant at all, especially not to football business and all that side of things. But everything works better if United get an actual result at the football club. No one's scrutinising as much because we've got to win. We never know what United we are going to get, to be honest. Consistency there is key. Let's keep pushing. No, we're not going to get consistent football, I'll be convinced, until we start seeing players playing well week in, week out. If we get more of that first 20 minutes of the second half in games, and that spreads to like 30 or 40 minutes possibly in games, and we're scoring goals, then I think we'll be all a little bit more convinced. But until that starts happening on a more regular basis, the doubts are just going to be there. Look, going into that game against Fenerbahce, I have got a little bit more hope because the way that we had finished the game against Brentford, but still not fully convinced by this team at all. Nowhere near convinced with Ten Hag yet. And why I wanted to make that video last night and bring up the issues that he's got in still putting his team together on that pitch. And I don't think he has. I still don't think he has done. And I think as soon as he does that and starts working on that and having the balls to play that way, i.e. putting his signings into the team, taking Bruno out when he doesn't need him. He doesn't need Bruno in every single game. But again, he keeps him in there, like I said yesterday, because of that moment that he had, which was setting up the winner. And that is what big players do. And that I just don't think he can. I don't think he can release, or I don't think he can get off that Bruno page, Ten Hag, or try something different, which every single United fan was sort of looking forward to a bit, just out of intrigue. Not like, as I said, that I love Bruno Fernandes, but I think we were all intrigued to see what United would have done without Bruno Fernandes in them suspended games. Obviously, after his red card against Spurs, that I mean. But obviously, when that was rescinded, we're looking at it and now going, it's back to Bruno again. And obviously, he's going to play every single game. So I just feel like we're in a position now where we want to see something different. Maybe jump on board with the good that was. Do you know what, actually? To be fair and to be straight down the middle, I feel like we need to obviously look at that game as well and say maybe that would give Bruno a little bit of confidence. Being the captain of the side, getting the assist for the winner, maybe that gives him a bit of confidence and we might see a bit of a simpler game from Bruno, because I thought he played scared at weekend. I think he was trying to be overly simple with his game. But he's still got that little bit of quality there that can win you something. And you know what? I say it about all of the players. Going through that little bit of adversity, going through that moment against Brentford, and then everything that happened at half-time, like we've just spoken about with the yellow card, Darren Fletcher now getting an FA charge as well, and the players going out there with something, like, honestly, little things like that, as stupid as it sounds, little things like that change seasons. They do. And you can say I'm flip-flopping or whatever you want. I'm not, honestly. I'm still petrified and I'm not convinced at all. But the way I look at it is little moments definitely change seasons. We've needed a moment for a long time. Something like what happened in Brentford against Brentford. Look, the goal should have stood for Brentford. There's nothing wrong with that goal. Ten Hag can go on all he wants. Van Nistelrooy, all of the players. Look, the goal stands. It's simple. Letter of the law. It's a goal for Brentford. Deal with it. Luckily, this time Manchester United didn't fall into their sad sack sulking mode football. They actually used it and went on and won the game. I don't think United would have won that game unless Brentford scored. I'll keep on saying that because I think that was that big, that moment. Let's do a few more comments. We never know what United... Oh, God, read that one already. Sorry, going over myself again. What result does everyone think we will get Thursday? Not an easy game, says Kaz. No, it's not. Ireland is a good finisher. He needs more passes. I am doing a bit more content on the impact that Van Nistelrooy has had on the team as well. That's going to be coming out at lunchtime today. So stay tuned for that one, everybody. That's going to be coming out later on. There is more content coming out on Football Talks this evening as well. Next video in line for that. So if you haven't already subscribed to Football Talks, which is our sister channel now, another channel that I'm doing on all other football in the Premier League, then please do go across and subscribe. The link is in the description, everybody. Make sure that you do click onto that and give it a watch, please. And there's a couple of videos out there now. Get subscribing and give me your thoughts on that. There is more content coming out on that channel tonight. So you got another 3 pieces of content from me just today alone. We are stacking it up there, everybody. As always, free content coming. So make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV and to Football Talks as well, everyone, please. Double A's in the house, and he says, hopefully we see Ericsson, Casemiro and Agate in on Thursday. Can't wait to see our best 10, number 10 that is, in his best position. Look, Ericsson plays in a double 8 for Denmark and plays really well. I feel like that's what we need to look at as well in all of this. Like, I said it yesterday in yesterday's video, like, can we play these players in their best positions? I think that's important now. Get them players out there on that pitch in their best positions and take that little bit of momentum. Don't waste it. Don't waste it and think, I'm safe now. I'm talking about Ten Hag in this and going out again. Don't just look at the Brentford game as like, right, okay, I've been proved right. No, we were wrong. The setup was wrong. We were crap. We had that moment and it switched us on. It switched us on. We started playing a completely different game. Use it. Use the momentum right now. And that's what I think will get us over the line. I hope we are all Man United supporters, no matter about Erik ten Hag. Everyone is. Everyone always will be. We'll be there cheering him on Thursday like we was on Saturday as well. If you haven't watched my emotional roller coaster of a day on the match day vlog, go and watch that. That is on the channel as well. The highs and lows of being a Manchester United fan inside the stadium watching this team. Honestly, it's hard work. It is. And thankfully, you'll see it. Look at my reactions first half compared to second half. And that is United. Because that was everybody in that stadium in the first half. Practically falling asleep. Just drained of any life at all from the performance. From both teams, not just United. It was an awful game of football. And then, bang. That goal, the emotion that I had, and I was talking and was ranting at half time. I was talking about how crap the club was, how crap the team was. I'm not going to hide away from it. I'll just say it as I see it. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know that's the way I am. I'm that type of fan. I'll say what I see. And that moment there, and I could tell because I was wound up by it. So it clearly did work the same way for the players as well. And then in the second half, you see the highlights of that game from us in the stands and how many things we were cheering and how up and down we were in our seats. It's night and day. I'm telling you now, that moment definitely changed that game. It 100% sent it in a completely different direction. Feed off it. Use it. Go forward. Change things up. Don't be scared to change things up, Erik, now. Get Eriksen in that side. He is key in a game like that in Europe against Fenerbahce, I feel. Ball retention is massive. No stupid mistakes. I think experienced players are going to come into this. I could actually see why you would think about playing Casemiro in this game because I don't think we're going to... Can you see us having our backs to the wall sort of set up against Jose? Can you see him playing that way? I think he's going to low block and try and frustrate United more than anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's scored quite a lot of goals this season, Fenerbahce. They have got a lot. I think they've got 17 goals in the league already alone. I think that's in 8 games as well. So they're averaging 2 goals a game in their league. I think they've bagged a few in the Europa League as well. So I think overall, they're averaging 2 goals a game through every competition this season. They have got a threat. And at home, they will feel favourites for this game. Obviously, on paper, I think it'll be United, but I think they will feel... I think they'll feel like they can take United down. And I don't want to be going into a game at weekend against West Ham, who are fully rested this week, having been dragged all over the place in Turkey. Let's not forget, late kickoff, getting back late on the Friday, and having, 1 day to train. It's not ideal going into a West Ham game with Lopetegui and the wounded animal factor when they've had a full week to prepare. It is going to be a very, very tough week for United to handle. He's just taken the sting out of it a little bit with the win against Brentford. But what we need to remember is Fenerbahce and Mourihno, for all the reasons that I've just said there then, and then West Ham at weekend, being tired coming off the back of a European game. You know what it's like after a European game. You don't want to be playing away in the Premier League. You don't want to be playing away at West Ham in the Premier League when they've got a point to prove. When everyone expects United to win because of West Ham's form, they are awful at the moment. It would just be typical of United, wouldn't it? That's the worry. It would be just the perfect Manchester United game. And I don't want it. I really don't want it to happen. But yeah. I just feel like we've got 2 of the most difficult games when we really didn't need them, and that's the worry and that's the concern. Henry says yes, like you relegation and the glory years when we went down to the second division. You should have sent it. You should have seen it. We were filling the away grounds. Could not get a ticket sellout, but I managed to get Oldham. Hopefully we don't have to go through that again, Henry, and we don't get relegated. Please. Never White, when you see how Slot adjusts tactics to suit different opponents, it's obvious to see how Erik ten Hag is failing this team. 1 win is only the start. Yeah, it is. Is that? No one's getting carried away with it. The realism is we beat a team who we should beat at weekend. And we move on. No one's convinced. No one's blown away. No one thinks it's a turning point. yes, there's definite positives to take from it, and we can move forward from here. And it is a bit more of an upbeat vibe around United, and I like it. But completely not taking anything away from what is coming. Let's enjoy today. Let's enjoy the first day back of the week, and looking ahead to the week. But I guarantee it, as soon as tomorrow starts and everything in terms of build up to this game starts to kick in, and we will realise what we're up against. And that is that United are well and truly in a very difficult spot with this week's games and these fixtures. I said it, I'll call it now, and we can go back to it. I'm happy that we beat Brentford, but Fenerbahce away, we don't get the positive result there, and only a win is a positive result. And then we're going tired off the back of that to West Ham. We don't get the result there. I'm starting to brick it a little bit, and I'm starting to worry that we're never going to get out of the bottom half of the table. Because then we're looking at 9 games into a season, and it starts to get a little bit more serious. Yes, we've got a few home games in a row then, which is good. I think we've got 4 home games in a row after West Ham and Fenerbahce away this week to finish off the international break. So maybe we can utilise that. But what is it? I think it's PAOK, it's League Cup against Leicester, it's the Leicester game in the league, and the Chelsea game in the league, all at home. So yeah, we've got a mega couple of weeks coming up, Manchester United, before the next international break now. So we need more than 7 points like we got in the last one. Otherwise, we're not going to move anywhere. We're going to have to beat the likes of Chelsea at home, I feel, and that's not going to be easy. You've seen what they did to Liverpool yesterday, how difficult they made it, and how close that game was. Chelsea are a decent side under Maresca now, and that's not going to be an easy one. We've got the backlash of Lopetegui this weekend, and let's not assume that we're going to beat Leicester. Leicester are showing signs of life. They really are. And the way that they came back against Southampton, how they handled that pressure and got them points, moving up the table again now. You've got Jamie Vardy there. You've got players that can score goals. If the teams are scoring goals, then they're always a threat against Manchester United. We were all right because we have Brentford, whose away record is absolutely atrocious. They haven't picked up 1 point away from home, and it was probably the right game to be playing under the pressure that Ten Hag is under. But every game now that we've got coming up, the teams that we're playing against have definitely got a chance of scoring goals against us. They're harder games than what we've had so far. And on paper, you may look at it and go, yes, United should be all right. I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it that way with any single game at all now. I really don't. I think it's a tough run of games for Manchester United, these next 6 games before the break. So we'll see that. Then it's the last international break of the season, and then that's it. It's crunch time. It is crunch time then. And it's non-stop football. And this is when I think big decisions will be made by the club if form hasn't got any better. West Ham always raise their game against Manchester United. Yes, they do, Stephanie. Fenerbahce have Saint Maximum, I fear, our left back. Oh, they do have him, don't they? Wow, forgot about him. You've got the likes of Victor Osimhen, Saint Maximum. They've got a good team. Oh, they haven't got Osimhen. That was Galatasaray, I said. You'd expect to get be top of the league with players like him. Completely ignore what I just said. They haven't got him. Don't worry. That is Galatasaray. That's the only team I was explaining earlier on. The only game that Jose's lost this season is Galatasaray. And that was away. So that's the concern going into Thursday, that Jose is in form. And I mean in Jose form, in being hard to beat. 1 defeat all season so far. And that was Galatasaray, like I said. So, yes, it just puts it all in perspective of how difficult a game it is going to be this Thursday. And West Ham after that, yes. Erik Ten Hag is rumoured to be top of the Great Britain tobogganing team wish list, as they be looking for years for someone who can push a team downhill at the start of at that sort of speed. Jokes. That wasn't me. Just make sure you remember that wasn't me, so don't ever go at me. United squad value almost 4 times that of Fenerbahce. Should win. It's got nothing to do with it at all. Nothing at all. It doesn't matter how much a player is worth. It's all about how good the player is. I bet there's plenty of players on that Fenerbahce side we would have instead of Anthony. And Anthony cost 85 million. Probably cost quite I'm saying that Antony's probably near the value of the bleeding Fenerbahce squad if you put it all down on paper. You could put a couple of Man United players out there from what we've spent on them, and they would probably be the same value as what half or even all of the Fenerbahce squad is. You need to get your local sound engineering to fix your sound. No, don't. Stop, Jonas. It is fine. It's not all over the place. I think that's just you, mate, having a go. Jeffrey, hope to make... hope so, mate. Let's hope we can kick on from Saturday and start getting points on the board and start putting performances in. Jose Mourihno tactic play like parking the bus. Long ball. I don't know. You don't score as many goals as you have done if you're parking the bus. Erik out. Sancho can't play. He's on loan from us. Not sure what you're on about there. Dan AA says, I fully expect Jose to set his team up to punish us. I don't think he'll park the bus. Under Ten Hag, United are vulnerable away from home in Europe. Going to be a horrible watch for us, I fear. I fear that as well, AA. I fear what's coming. It's going to be I'm not thinking backs to the wall. I don't think. I just think it'll feel like we're back still. I feel like the pressure will be on Manchester United. And I think it's going to be... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be hard. That's all I know. It's going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. Keep your comments coming in, everyone. We're getting through as many as we possibly can. We have got a poll running right now. We've had it running through the show. Confidence level going into this week. So this week in general, basically with the games coming up, Fenerbahce, West Ham United, how are you feeling? You've got 4 options. Better after Saturday, still nervous, never going to be convinced, and tell you after Thursday. It's the tightest poll that we've ever done, I think. 31% of you are saying feeling better after Saturday. So you're more confident after what happened on Saturday. I get it. You're inevitably going to feel that way as a United fan after raw emotion as a fan after winning a game. I think that is I think that's natural. Still nervous, 23%. Never going to be convinced. I'm guessing that's people who just know what Ten Hag is about. One win and then we'll lose one. We'll get another couple of wins and lose one and we'll stay around mid-table. I get that as well. Tell you after Thursday, because that is, I think, the most important one out of all of this. A lot of people are happy that we got the win against Brentford. A lot of people have seen a few good signs, and it is a little bit more upbeat. But that's why I put that tell you after Thursday option in there in the poll. It was a lot of people looking at it going, I'm only going to be convinced if we back up a decent performance, because we haven't done that all season. Yes, you could say we beat Southampton, then we beat Barnsley. This is a different ball game. We beat Brentford, who were better, you could say, than Southampton, but we was at home. And now we've got 2 tough away games. If we back up Brentford with good results, that being 2 wins against Fenerbahce and West Ham, then a lot of this fan base will turn around and go, okay, I've seen something a little bit different now. That has convinced me a little bit more. They are 3 massive wins, them. I'll say this now. You beat West Ham and Fenerbahce this week. I reckon that gives Ten Hag at least till the end of the year in terms of the pressure side of things. The calendar year, that is. Because I feel like Ineos will wait around to see now. And it does depend on whether the results fall off a cliff. If they fall off a cliff, I think we may be seeing a result out of it. I think we may start seeing Ineos get like twitchy feet and Ten Hag will be gone. If he gets some good results now, then I think they'll let them see it out until the end of the year. But I think with January coming up, the transfer window opening, possibly a new direction, I think they may look at pulling the trigger then if things don't improve. But all Ten Hag can do now is just get some more wins under his belt, get more consistency in this team. And it is why this week is massive. Absolutely huge. Because even if you get a draw, and if you get, say for instance, 2 draws against Fenerbahce and West Ham this week, that's not going to be enough. On paper, you would probably say that's not too bad. You got a couple of draws there against tough opposition in tough away games. But that's because of everything that's happened, and this is the point I wanted to make. Because of the crap that's gone before, he hasn't got room to call a Porto draw away from home a good result and an Aston Villa draw away from home a good result. He hasn't. It only turns into a good result because on paper they are good results. But right now, with the way United are, them results only look good if we back them up. and win games after it. So parking the bus against Aston Villa looks okay now because we beat Brentford. But that gets thrown out again if we then lose to Fenerbahce and don't get the win against West Ham. It all falls down. And that's what he hasn't got the room for anymore. That's what I mean by the knife-edge time now that Ten Hag is on. It's literally game by game. The only way that he gives himself a bit of breathing space is by getting a bit of a run going together. If he doesn't get that, then it's always going to be the same. We're always going to be deciding whether it's good or whether it's not. We're always going to say, like, when are Ineos going to be sacking Ten Hag? It's always going to be that conversation. It needs to be wins. It needs to be consistent wins in these tough games. It doesn't matter how hard they are now. We haven't got time to say that a draw against Fenerbahce is a good result. Look, the pressure is on to get into that top 8 in the Europa League. 15 points we need. That's the worked out mark that you will get into that top 8 in the Europa League phase. If we draw against Fenerbahce, we've got 5 games left. And yes, we can win all of them 5 games. I know we can. The opposition does go downhill a little bit after this game. And it's probably the only saving grace that we've got. But you've still got to look at how difficult it's going to be to get the results if the pressure is on. And that's what I mean. You take the pressure off and you play with a lot more freedom if you've got results in the bag. If you haven't, every game becomes a nervous one. You look at FC Twente. I mean, they're the lowest ranked side that United can play at home in the Europa League this season, and we didn't beat them. So I'm looking at PAOK and I'm going, we should be beating PAOK. We should be beating Rangers. We should be beating Steaua Bucharest. We should be beating all of these teams. But when you're nervous and you need a result, that goes out the window. And that's what United are creating right now. And if you beat Fenerbahce and West Ham this week, a whole lot of the crap that has gone before, the rest of the part of this season that has gone before, definitely starts to ease a little bit. But if it isn't, and it's a draw, and we don't pick up wins, then you're down the road of everybody is criticising still. It's still not good enough. The inconsistencies are still there. And that's my biggest concern and why I don't think we will get where we need to go with Ten Hag. I just know what's going to come further down the line. I'm here to be proved wrong, and that's why I wanted to talk about ifs. Ifs and buts. Let's talk the ifs and buts. But the dead certs are what we are bitching and moaning about. That's the problem. Only counts for results. And like that poll says there, I'll tell you after Thursday, a lot of fans just need to be more convinced yet. Not fully over the line. They need to be convinced by more results and a bit more of a consistent sort of winning run. But that is the show this morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I was a tad late this morning. I was just setting up a few things. Like I said, I've got loads of content coming up this afternoon as well. So we'll have more content coming out at lunchtime. We've got the evening show at 6:30 as well. So make sure you're there for that one. And obviously as well, we have got content coming out on Football Talks as well this evening as well. The latest video on that channel. So loads to come up. Thank you, everybody, for being involved in the show. Mods and members in the chat, absolutely brilliant. Comments, bang on the money as always. Make sure you give the video a like on the way out, please, everybody. And you have subscribed to Forever United TV. Go and subscribe to Football Talks as well. And I'll see you all later on.